Well, hello everybody, and today I'm going to talk to you about the paints I use and how I use them. Today I'm going to be painting this Kingfisher which I painted last night, and I did not paint the board before I paint the Kingfisher, which I normally do. I'm about to spray it with some clear lacquer, which you can get from any Motors discount store. As you can hear, it's a rattle can, so let's see what happens. I normally only give it a quick spray to start with, because if you don't, you might get little bubbles coming up from the wood. So give it a quick spray, leave it for an hour or two, and then respray. Doing this method, if you leave it long enough, you will find that you can put hot and cold drinks on, and if you spill anything on them, you can wipe it back off. One good thing about this method is if you paint something and you're not happy with, you can soon get rid of it. Now it's gone, and I can reuse that board for something else. Always remember, even masters used to repaint their canvases. Now I'm going to give that a few seconds to dry, and we'll come back to it in a few moments. I will use this board for a sunset or a sunrise. The first colour is midnight blue, then I'm going to use a red. Quick spray, not too hard. Now we're going to spray with orange. Need to get a new orange. A dark green. Now blue. Lastly yellow. I will now let that dry, and I will paint a sunset, sunrise on it later. Well, here are a couple of boards that I'm about to make. I make my own little surfboards. This piece is a piece of laburnum, which actually is a very nice piece of wood. This is a piece of damson, or as I like to call them, cherry plums, or wild plums in England. Also makes a very nice surfboard. I'm going to make them. I'm not going to show you how I cut them, and I'm not going to show you how I actually make them, because if someone has an accident, they could blame me. These are the same two pieces of wood. After the initial quick sanding, again, like I say, I will not show you how I do it, because if I do not want anyone to have an accident if they copy how I do it. Now this part of the process I will show you, because it's done by hand. This is an old sanding belt, and basically lay your work on the belt on a nice flat surface. And gradually it will become smoother. The reason I wear gloves is because I don't want to wear my hands out. I don't wear the gloves out. Do the edges, and work like this. That's nice. And you might say, how do I get the shape? I've been doing so many of them, I just do it by eye. Something nice and sharp in my cup, I like that much. This is the larger one. I do have a large workshop. I put a few tools in, and like I say, to cut them out I use a hand saw. I'm going to say that, so I do use a power saw, but for safety reasons I would say use a hand saw. Surfboards I cut for an angle of the wood to straight across. I cut it at an angle, and you want to try and cut it in fairly thin slices. This bit of the Burnham's quite wide, and to give you some idea of how many pieces I get through in a month, all these pieces are waiting to be cut, and there is a nice piece of the Burnham waiting to be processed in the first place. The videos I've done of the two bears and the Malamute, I wasn't actually going to put them on YouTube because they are both, in my words, very poor. But my editor said put them in because it shows you what your work might be in the first place. Both pieces will be painted back over like I did that other bear. The reason I'd done that bear was to show you another thing, and that was if you paint your paste black first and then put your painting over the top, because the black which comes out of a spray can is going to be more of a matte colour. When you put your paint on top, anything you want the black on the painting will be deeper than anything you put on. So it puts shadow into your painting. Also when you're doing scenes, you know, like snowy scenes or mountains, paint your sky blue if you want a nice blue sky. Put a bit of black on for your mountains. And then spray a little bit white at the bottom, and if you get the can far enough away, you'll get a nice misty appearance at the foot of your mountains. But these things I will show you in time. Right. Basically, that's the two boards done. This has taken me about 10 minutes in time in reality. And there's your two boards. I will show you now how I paint them. First colour is Midnight Blue. Then a red. And a small amount of orange. A little bit of dark green, small amount of blue, and the finish yellow. Now as you can see, the paint is being absorbed by the wood. Sometimes I like, especially on pine, which I buy, which I don't like buying. I do not like pine at all because of the amount of resins that are in the wood. But wood will take up your paint very differently, especially when it's sprayed on. And this is why I like this technique. Because sometimes when you paint like I'm doing, the wood will show your painting. I will show you an example of it once I go back indoors, because I'm in my workshop at the moment. Right, here are a few examples of my work. As I said, I like to paint my skies in midnight blue. On this one it's a little of a bit of a landscape, and the moon is shining through this arch. Now by using midnight blue you get a contrast between your sky and your cliff. Little old munchkin on the back. Here is another example. This was the reason I like pens, is because I like to paint quite fine. And as you can see on this one, The tail, if I get the shine off it, is quite fine. You don't need a lot of paint on your pens, and how I normally do it is, if I think it's going to be too much paint on them, I will use a spare piece of material, see what the situation is as regards ink, and if there's too much on there I'll take it off with a piece of kitchen roll. But it's just a little flick. To do this sort of thing with a pen, I think you'd be struggling. With a brush, sorry, you'd be struggling, especially with some of the people who I've seen use 2-inch brushes and God knows what else. This one is a little old Munchkin, and he's being told off. And his mum's asking him who's got my wool. So he's not too happy, because I think he's going to get told off. Here's an example of a bear that I've painted. I got this one off of YouTube, and I like to call him Nice Catch. Here's an example of what I was talking about if you use black as a background. By using black, I never put none of this black in because it was already there. So when I painted his fur on, all you get is a 3D effect. Once I'd finished, because he's got black in certain places, I just put some paint on, and then I just use my finger to smear it out to give it that effect. You might gather I like painting kittens. Here's another example. The one thing I do like painting is their eyes. I think if you get the eyes right, it brings the creature to life. Another one, a little old squirrel. And this is an example of a mountain scenery. Again, the board was painted black. I stood quite a way away and sprayed some white, and this gives you your misty effect. Your trees again are just black, and this is obviously the sun coming up over the mountains. Another example of a board. Now on this one, when I sprayed this one, this mountain actually appeared on the wood. Don't know why, but it did. And again, when you spray with normal everyday paint, like I say, spray paint, this is the effect you get. You get a nice sort of clear sea. Now I do not like painting in this position. It's not how I paint. Normally I would paint closer to me. I hold the work in this hand, I paint with this hand, and I paint in the same position as you would paint read a book. Both the two bears and the Malamute I did not like. I thought they were be honest with you, very poor paintings. But my editor said leave them in, because it shows what your paintings could be like in the beginning and progress forward. But like I say, both them paintings will be painted over and the boards will be used again. I hope you find these videos educational or interesting, and I'll speak to you soon. Thank you very much for watching.